flag. The red flag with the 5-pointed green star in the center when he chopped down the cherry tree. And they love cherry pies. And when the Europeans eat them cherry pies, what do? They think about you and me. And now we done got so weak as the brothers, we begin to eat cherries. We begin to eat all kinds of cherries, human cherries too. Because what we're doing is we done took on the concepts and the ideologies of a European people. Drew Ali said, give back to Caesar what belonged to Caesar. Give it back to him. He's talking about give them back the thought pattern. See, we're powerful people. We're great and strong and powerful people. Man, I wish that what I'm going through now and the things that I've overcome, but my mother told me about that a long time ago. I just didn't want to listen to her. People have been telling me this, but the Moors are doing all right. And the Moors is growing. But I hope I answered that a little bit about Marcus Garvey, because he's the forerunner to the prophet. He could not have been the prophet because he wasn't born here. And what the prophet, American-born prophet, had to do, he had to restore some things on us that we had lost. And one of them was our nationality. And Marcus Garvey could not have brought us a nationality because he already had one. So he was the forerunner, and he came to stir the people up to get ready for Drew Ali. And he did a good job in that. That's why in our book, we give honor to Marcus Garvey. Yes, sir.
Okay, second question. I noticed on the Liberty Bell, there's at the bottom of the Liberty Bell, there's it says Leviticus 25:10. Can you explain the significance? Can you explain the Liberty Bell in general?
You and I talk about the Liberty Bell. You always say, I'm with 13. So you got to tell me something about that. I remember Paul Revere. Mm-hmm. Paul Revere said, give me liberty or give me death. Mm-hmm. Now, let's look at this Liberty Bell. See, when they were talking about Leviticus and talking about give us liberty, they were talking about set us free. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Set us free. I'm not just talking about physically, mentally as well, because we're physically in bondage. Mm-hmm. And when you're in bondage, you don't have no liberty. Mm-hmm. But I remember the United States talking about liberty. Matter of fact, I remember the Gettysburg Address. And in the Gettysburg Address, it said 7 years ago, our father brought forth upon this nation conceived in liberty. Mm-hmm. Now he's telling us that this nation is conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Do you agree with that? Conceived, when a woman conceived a child, so he's saying the birth of this government was in liberty. But you know what, though? It is for those that's citizens. Mm-hmm. See? Because when we say that we are Negro, colored, and black, we don't have no liberty. Now, there was in England is where they cast the bell. And then when they first brought it to America, they took it to Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. They took it to Pennsylvania because this is where the first White House was at. So they took it there, and the first rang in 1776 because the United States got its independence. But they used to take the Liberty Bell, and whenever a governor have a funeral or pass form, they would take that bell and ride it on the back, in respect to the governor. So one day they were coming from a funeral, and they had a governor named John Marshall, and it fell, and that's how I got the crack in it, and they never replaced it. But when you look at you and me, and you can see that we free men because we wearing a Liberty Bell. Matter of fact, it's the same shape of it. So when you see a Moor, a conscious Moor, because when you see any Moor, he conscious. They say if a Moor don't know, don't nobody know. So that's how it got the crack in the Liberty Bell, and being there with the Chief Justice, they know nothing they could do because they're not doing right anyway. Because if you say you're with God and a person don't know nothing about their nationality, you have an obligation to teach it. Brother was talking about John Hanson last night. Yeah, John Hanson was the first president of the United States under the Constitution. Mm-hmm. Because before the Constitution, it was the first 7 Articles of Confederation. Mm-hmm. And it's known today as the Constitution. However, when he commissioned George Washington as a general, he's the one that sent George Washington over there to chop down our cherry tree. So just because a brother or sister say that they with you, don't mean they're already with you. So we just want the world to know that John Hanson was the first president because the Senate and Congress, all that was Asiatic Israel. The Europeans still was in the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
We built this. We built this government. So when you begin to talk about Leviticus, see a lot of things in Leviticus. They even talking about you dying in Leviticus in the pig hoof. But when they're talking about in Leviticus about being free, about liberty, see, liberty is freedom, and can nobody but Jew Ali bought us that. Jew Ali freed us. See, a lot of times we thinking right now that we need to do this and we need to do that. Jew Ali came on the scene. He said, I bought you everything that it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. So I love that when you begin to talk about the liberty and the Liberty Bell, where it was cast out in England. And matter of fact, when the British, because we always talk about the British, when the British came to Philadelphia, they hid it out. And then they bought it back. Matter of fact, where did they hide that out at? Allentown, Pennsylvania. Matter of fact, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, they took and hid the flag because they knew the British would have took it. You know, so there's so many different, and I can give it to you from another perspective because I've heard it from 100 perspectives. You know, but when we begin to talk about that Liberty Bell, you need to know where the crack come from, why the crack in there, why they didn't place it. And it got cracked, and John Marshall, you know, the governor, at his funeral, it fell off the back of the what-you-call. They never what-you-call. They never replaced it.
It's funny that you brought up Paul Revere, because when you brought up Paul Revere in his statement, give me liberty and give me that, it made me think about a guy named Nat Turner. When Nat Turner went for his liberty, the real Nat Turner he fought for his liberty under the same slogan of give me liberty or give me that. And behind that, he was chopped into 13 pieces and sent to the 13 states. But that's another story.
I'm glad you said that, because I think we talked about that before. One time we was in Virginia, and the brother kept messing with the European. He said, yeah, Nat Turner, my cousin. Nat Turner, my cousin, Cracker. He said, yeah, so that you went into his back pocket. He said, see my wallet? He said, yeah, what's that? He said, Nat Turner's hide. This is a hide right here. So you keep talking about Nat Turner, I'm going to get your hide. You know, so, yeah, Mo.
But I got another question to ask you. The Moors always talk about the prophets' oral statements. Can you give some clarity on some of the oral statements that our prophet made and how they fit in with today's message, and how this tie in with the imperative of getting back to our nationality?
Okay. I like that. But see, when you talk about the oral statement, it's not just about nationality. It's about nationality and divine creed.
Yeah.
Now, some people that you know, some people that I know, they was saying that German Bay. German Bay gave them the oral statements back in the 70s, and they learned the oral statement. That's not so. The oral statements came out around 1987. And they came out 1987, and the brother that wrote the book, oral statement, was Grand Sheik at the time, R. Lovell. And R. Lovell, I think he done a wise thing, because what was taking place, you still had Pearl Ali around, you had the Cook Bay brothers around, you had a lot of Moors that was around with the Prophet. See, they was around with the Prophet, so what Lovell did, he went to all those sheiks that was around with the Prophet and asked them to write something. Write something down that the Prophet said, so we could put it in booklet form. Because a lot of times in the literature, sometimes you Ali might have said something to you or me talking that you not like that in the book. So he compiled, he went around to all the sheiks. And see, this wasn't until the 80s. It wasn't no oral statements in the 70s. And how do I know if there was oral statements in the 70s? I would have read them, because I was functioning then. So the brother just using that and said that German Bay didn't do that. Don't give German Bay a beef that's not his. Our Lovell is the one came. Now, I'm going to tell you something took place with me. It was two Cook Bay brothers. And there was another one named Cornelius Cook Bay. His mother name was Salome. And me and him was talking with a little young brother. He's a cook man. He's a sheik. And he used to tell me that when they used to be in Sunday school, his grandfather and his father's brother, they'd be arguing. And they said, the prophet said it did. No, the prophet said this. Well, when a lot of times, if you and I are sitting in the audience and listening to somebody, and when we listen to them, we might get two different things of what they're saying.
Two interpretations.
We got to get into and we might not hear it because I done seen that. So a lot of things that's in them oral statements, I'm even opposed to. You know, because some of them don't fit my understanding. But the intent of it. And I know that the prophet say, don't falsely use me, don't say something that the prophet didn't say. You're going to get that too if they were with the prophet or not with the prophet. And some of those oral statements is ludicrous. You know, but I got to give honor to it because of the effort and the great work that he done. So the oral statement is like the hadith. Now, you know, you got that in Prophet Muhammad. All the caliphs, you know, right? Bakari, and they write all kind of books on Prophet Muhammad, and everybody read the hadith as its law. But a lot of time when brothers look at the oral statement, because of the grand body it comes from, because of the brother that came with the oral statement, people don't want to pay it no mind. But see, one thing about me, you give honor where honor is due. And to withhold honor is both mean and unjust. But a lot of those oral statements are real good. A lot of them real good. The sister don't like some of them because one of the oral statements, the prophet said, I have two. And one day you have two and more you can take care of. See? But then the Jew leaders also told us that we just plain rich.
Yeah.
Now, when you say just plain rich, when we talk to you about the last prophet, now Betsy Ross. Let's go back to Betsy Ross when I'm looking at her. She was paralyzed. Betsy Ross, the first, she had nothing to do with the building of that flag. And then they tell me today that it is no record. Ain't no record because the sister done that was in the quarters. So there's a lot of things, but what we need to do this new year as Moorish Americans, we need to try to build something, like this building we trying to get. We need to build something and take our focus off of the European. I ain't mad with him. His time is declared out. Drew Ali told me to learn to love instead of hate. Our mission is to teach our people their nationality and their divine creed. Their divine creed is their religion. If you got a religion, then you ain't gonna be hating. See, I know what the Europeans done. They time been declared. They are my sons. They are the sons. They are the sons of the widow. They are the sons of the mason. The woman is the mason. They are the sons. They wearing my headdress and wearing yours. Brother, we are who we say we are. Mo, you wearing the fez, Mo. Look at the life that you done went through. And now you wearing the fez. I remember Brother Paul Hill used to go through the South, and all the Europeans would do that to him because they knew what that fez represented. But now we got brothers, and we got brothers. I'm not going to put on the sister. When they want to raise somebody up or go talk to somebody about the prophet, or when they want to go down to the courthouse with their buddies, or when somebody goes to them, they'll run and put the fez on. And the people they put their fez on to go represent have nothing to do with Drew Ali. Don't care nothing about Drew Ali. They just want to use.
Don't know the 101.
Don't know none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so praise Allah. Any other questions, sir?
No, I want to talk about something else, and I'm gonna get back to you on a question. To verify some of the things that we're saying, we need to learn, especially on this national side. We need to learn about the 4 dead baggage laws and what was and the Emancipation Proclamation and the money system. There's something called the Freeman Trust, and there was a trust set up for all of the children of the ex-slaves to go to school. You need to go online and pull up Freeman Trust and see the process they did. What they took from us. You should go online and you should read up on Horace Greeley and some of the things, some of the fights that that Lincoln had, and you need to read about Christian A. Fleetwood, who beat Lee in Virginia, and helped us come from under the situation. But all this was a moot point until the prophet came on the scene, because when he came on the scene and said Islam, Nobody had, I mean, you got to understand, most of them weren't allowed to read. And if they caught you with a book, then there was a whipping. So this man came up. He left America when he was 16. When he came back with all this knowledge, so he had to be ordained. There are some of the greatest scholars in the world, they say, out among us, studied under Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Some of them took his knowledge and they did their own little thing, which is not a bad thing as long as they're working for the. See, we're on a path, and this path that we're on, Grand Sheik Lynch Bay is from Washington D.C. I'm from Florida, but we're both in Oregon. We came here. We're here to try to help uplift Oregon. If I went to Washington, D.C., I have the same mission. If I went to Florida, I have the same mission. We have to realize that the Holy Quran of Mecca says that from among you I should raise up a prophet. We should not look for our Savior. We shouldn't be able to just see our Savior through the eyes of others. If somebody tell you right now that the prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, is descending from the heaven, if he looks like you, that's why Moorish say the closest place to find God is in your heart. Because if you take him and put him on the physical thing, and if he looked like you, I guarantee you 98% of the Europeans in America is going straight to hell because they're not going to follow him. And if he looked like them, 98% of us going to go to hell because we're going to say we can't trust him. So it's got to be the God that you're looking for, the salvation that you're looking for, he stays in your heart. You don't have to really look that far. You just look within yourself. You come to save you. You are your Savior. Allah has blessed you with a spirit, with a consciousness. But you got to be open-minded to grow. You just can't be narrow-minded because you lock out good information. So you have to be open to reason and consciousness, and know that this fight, like we said, this fight is not about the flesh, because the flesh can't think. It's not about the bones. The bones don't reason. This thing is a lot bigger than that.
Let me share this. You said something about the 4 dear badges of law, and then you said something about the Freeman Bureau. Now, you talking about the Freeman Bureau, you talking about a brother by the name of Frederick Douglass. And Frederick Douglass could have done what the prophet done. Frederick Douglass knew what he was supposed to do. He's supposed to have been the one to bring everybody in to proclaim their nationality. But they paid him off $100 in the European woman. So he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So really, he had sold us out. You know, just like a lot of them done to the prophet and Marcus Garvey. Our brothers that was working in the NAACP. Most of them were agents of the European. But Marcus Garvey, he could have, he's supposed to be the head of the Bureau. And all of our people supposed to be coming through because, see, you got emancipation proclamation, but you also had emancipation compensation. See? It ain't just emancipation proclamation. One of them is money. Then you got the 3630, all the land of milk and honey. There's a lot of things that's in the temple that we're talking about, but until we come together under one head like the prophet left it, certain things we can't even do. When I talked to your man, he was saying he needs so many signatures to do a certain thing.
25, yeah.
And we got that. We got more and more Americans than that. But once we come together under one, see, like, we got something beautiful. Because Noble Drew Ali wasn't even here 20 years. Noble Drew Ali wasn't even on earth 20 years. He been gone less than 20 years, and we still here today. Austin Bay always talk about Genghis Khan. And she said Genghis Khan didn't last 50 years. But we still here. And Noble Drew Ali told us that the movement will go so low that you think it vanished from the face of the earth, and then you look up and see no material in the face. And I thank God because I'm in 63 years old, but I'm still here, and I'm strong. See? I don't walk around with pants hanging down. I'm not on dope. I'm not on flesh. I'm trying to do the work of God. See, and I'm 63 this year. See, and you 70 something. So we are blessed that we're still here. And what make me feel so good is I've been around in the Moorish movement a long time. But by being around, I had to go through trials and tribulations too. That's why we talk about nationality and we talk about the 20 sections. See? But you got to understand too that is the 2 sections, the 18 sections, but the same thing in the spiritual aspect, there's 18 years.
Just missing.
That's missing. So we're dealing with that 18. That 8 and 1 is number 9. That's man standing up. Standing upright, Mo.
Speaking of that, the 18 missing years of Jesus, and this came about, I think, at the Council of Nicaea. It was this way they started taking some of the books out, and can you talk on that a little bit?
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Okay, 18 years. They talk about Jesus in the Bible when he was 12. And then they talked about him no more until they were 33. You have the book of Barnabas. You have a lot of different books that was taken from the Bible. But you got to understand, when you get to talk about the Bible, you got to go back to Egypt. This book right here, I might have 100 Amazing Facts by J.A. Rogers. Just this book alone, because that's one of the books we was required to read. If you read that book, you will see that when you begin to talk about Akhenaten, when you begin to talk about Imhotep, when you were talking about, it comes out of Egypt. When you begin to talk about the monotheistic religion. So you got monotheism and you have polytheism. Monotheism is a belief in one God.
Oneness of God.
And the other one is a belief in more than one God. So now which one do we have, monotheism or polytheism? Man, I come to find out, I remember one time that a friend of mine, somebody was sitting on his car. And he was getting ready to go out there and kill him for sitting on his car. But somebody snatched his daughter's pocketbook and he didn't do nothing about it. So now, we more so hung up in our cars and our home than we are our own family. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is what you all need to come to tell us. So he told us to learn to love instead of hate and to teach our children too. He said, teach our children these lessons that they learn to love instead of hate. But now look, we supposed to be children of God. We got our children looking at this hocus pocus. We just had Christmas. Man, a lot of us don't have no money at all. We don't have a dime in our pocket, but yet we're going to become late in our bills and everything just to participate in a Christmas.
Yeah,
and I know where I come from. If a big European come down that chimney, we're going to, you know what I mean? Coming down that chimney, we're going to be beefing. You know what I mean? Coming in there. You know, it's hot, hot as it is. Because the hottest place in the world is the chimney. But it's a lot of thoughts, Mo. It's a lot. That's why we need to find a place here in Portland that we could, like the tea shop or coffee shop or something that we could have for when the people come through. Just like when we went to the coffee house the other day. See all them people up in there with the computers and they doing their thing and they dialoguing with one another. And until we, see right now, you just said you from Florida. And that's why I'm so, you right here, you've been here for years, but you from Florida. And it seems like those that's from right here, they call themselves Moors. They ain't trying to do nothing but go to the temple on Friday. And on Sunday, if you do that and talk about the prophet, you got to get out and take work with this, Mo. It take a lot of work. You see.
Yeah.
It take a lot of finance. Man, you and I go in our pockets every day, but you got to do that when you're trying to build the prophet teacher. So now when you begin to talk about compensation, emancipation compensation, and emancipation proclamation, see, there is a compensation, Mo. There's a compensation. There's a lot of things that we need, but just like I showed you the picture today. I showed you a picture of Sister Saunders Bay. She with Kenyu Harris Bay. She with Belly Hill. She got pictures of Jones Bay. She go all around, Mo. And when you begin to say that you Mo, we got to go around and meet the Moors everywhere, Mo, so we could bring this thing back under one head like the prophet left it.
In Portland, brother, Grand Sheik, there's a lot of elderly retired school teachers, professional people. How can we get them to take a look at Moorish Saints so they'll be willing to get in and try to help steer the young people away from that pipeline that's leading from the high school to the prison, because they don't have no image or no nothing to look up to, nothing to show that we are successful as a people. Now, how can we work with the community to try to grow these people, to try to get them involved so they can be a access to their community instead of a liability?
Well, I just gave the brother $187 for these flyers. So we got to take these flyers, Mo. We can't tell them to go to the internet because they have so much foolishness on the internet that's opposed to some of our teachings. So what we got to do is get the brothers, and we got to go out into the community. And we got to go out into the community and start talking to the people. And being that they from here, and they've been here all their life, they know the thing that's conducive to the growth and development. And we just got to do the footwork.
Yeah.
We got to get out in the community more, because if we don't, it ain't nothing going to ever transpire. And see, another thing, I was thinking about the other day, that when we were talking about the roads getting ready to come, we didn't have the road. I'm glad everybody wasn't in the road. I don't mind being around you, because your character's good. But a lot of brothers and sisters that we might be around, when they leave us, they're not the same people. And so when people
you got to be the message that you bring.
Well, yeah, when the people get to talk about the morals, they say, okay, I know the morals, but the morals are this way. The morals are that way. The morals are not practiced: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So let's follow the lead.
Yeah.
Let's get out there more. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's go meet the people.
Right.
See? Because a lot of people, I know a lot of people say, man, I carry this stuff to the grave before I give it to somebody else. They want something. They ain't scared more. But these Europeans up here got our brothers and sisters scared to death. And I can understand it, because they ain't but 4%.
Yeah.
So I'm here. I don't have no fear. My job is to uplift fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make our members better citizens.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do. What we need right now, we need more. I learned something today. Brother Moore. We gotta, and this is the first of the year, we gotta get out here and propagate a little more, because those that's around, you know what I mean, you look for them and they're not there when you need them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember I seen you on the show the other day. And you was on the show and you were talking about deadbeat parents. And the first thing I heard you say, man, I used to be all of that. But I done changed. I've been born again. So when we go to the people, we don't want to go through the people throwing no jabs at them.
No.
We want to go to them and teach them the knowledge about themselves.
Because that's our brothers and our sisters.
You see what I mean? That's who we are.
Yeah.
And refer them to the books like you always doing. So we're doing what we're supposed to do, Mo. We can't do but so much. But we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're trying to get a building so it'll be always open for the public to come. Even those homeless, they can come in there and sleep once we get the building. You know, so it's a lot of things that we're trying to do. But know what Drew Ali, Mo, just like Drew Ali said, like the 4 breaks. The 4 breaks represent Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. But it also represents fire, water, earth, and air.
The elements.
And it also represents the political aspect, the religious aspect, the social aspect, and the economical aspect. So these are some of the things we see that, and now you see you've got 4 corners. And if we stand upright on all 4 corners, because there's 9 degrees on all 4 corners, and if we become 9 degrees on all 4 corners, that's 360. And if we got 360 degrees now that we trying to learn, because none of us have no 360 degrees, but we trying to do that.
Nah.
And we trying to grow that. But right now, Mo, it's about the babies. It's about the elders, and it's about the babies. Drew Ali say he come for the young and yet born, the old can follow if they want. See? But I don't really need a lot of dead weight around me, because it can break you.
Yeah, they need to come in and help us. We are. There's some books that I'm going to recommend to some of you. One of the books that I'm going to recommend to you